This is going to be our first episode into our team breakdown. We're going to start with the Tennessee Titans, and we're going to continue in draft order. Now, we're going to go over all 32 teams, and we're going to just kind of break down every team. This is going to be the information that we all want, let's be real, at the end of the season, and especially at the end of the season if it comes earlier than the Super Bowl, if you're not a Chiefs fan or Eagles fan this year. Check out our other episode on the Super Bowl to see a little bit more what we think about that. But then your season started a little earlier. And as much as we all love the Chiefs and we love the Eagles too, we all love our teams. And there's just no information out here right now. So hopefully you can take this and you can check out our breakdown of it. See if you agree. If you don't agree, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about it. Tell us how wrong we were. Let us know if there was someone we missed.
Let us know if we're trash.
Yeah, if we're trash too. If the take is just total trash and we got everything wrong about the Titans, then feel free to, find a different channel then, I guess.
You're welcome to just let us know too. It don't matter.
Yeah. I mean, the beauty of sports is that we're not all going to agree with everything, and we're going to have some different takes on here. And I hope that, we're not going to have the same old takes of everybody else. No, so without further ado, we're going to come in and we're going to talk about the Titans. We're going to start with their cap space and their draft picks here. So they have $44 million per over the cap in cap space with $11 million in dead cap. They have, give me 1 second, total draft picks. They have the first overall pick, as we all know. They also have.
Yep, they have 8 picks, no third round pick.
There we go. Yeah, and we'll get more into the draft here soon, but that's just to kind of give it the general breakdown of what they have to work with here.
I got some opinions on their draft.
Okay, yeah, we're going to get into that too for sure. Yeah, we're going to. I mean, they can really go in a bunch of different ways. So I'm definitely curious to see where we go on that. And then now we're going to go into the coaches and their GM. They did just switch their GM. They hired Mike Borgonzi. He got hired after being with Kansas City for 16 years, where he supervised and directed their college and NFL scouting department. He has 16 years in Kansas City. So he helped draft Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, George Karlaftis. And again, check out our Super Bowl episode to get a little bit more breakdown of those guys. But he brought those guys in. So I think that's a great hire. I mean, build a good team. It's a guy that has been building a good team for 16 years.
You got to love hiring somebody that's done the scouting. You know what I mean? He knows what good players look like.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to bring in good players. And you want some. They need a new GM anyway. But I feel like this is a good. He's been in with a great organization that's been at the top for years now.
Yeah.
Like I said, him drafting players is a big thing because he's gonna get with the coaches and everything like the other coaches that we're gonna mention here in a minute. But, he's gonna get with them. He's gonna be able to build something there. And this Titans team's not good, but they're
pieces.
They're not in a bad situation like some of the other teams in the league.
Yeah, sometimes you just have a down year, and we'll get into more of a reason why that is for the Titans. But yeah, with Mike, I think that's another thing is that it's a culture kind of thing too. He brings a good culture with him from Kansas City. They hired Andy Reid. The curious thing, and as we'll get into their head coach now too, the curious thing is now they had the opportunity to fire their GM last year and go with someone different, so that they paired up Brian Callahan and the GM, Brian Callahan being their head coach, but they didn't do that. So again, this isn't the GM that picked this head coach, and this head coach didn't pick this GM. But that's always kind of weird. Sometimes it works, don't get me wrong.
Most of the time it doesn't.
Yeah, most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time that people want their guys. Even if it's a good coach, even if it's a good relationship, they want their guy, which is stupid. It is. If this guy's good, who cares? Brian Callahan, I don't know if he's going to be a great coach. This is his second year, and they obviously have the first pick. So, it doesn't look great. But again, there's more to it than just that. And with Brian Callahan again here, let's see, I said 2 years.
2 years as an OC for Cincinnati. So, he worked with Joe Burrow. And he has 14 years total NFL experience. So, he does have the experience. He got to work with Joe Burrow. I don't know if that really says anything about the coach, working with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's a great player. That kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's gonna have this year to prove himself.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
and see if him and the GM can click.
Yep. Bring in some
If
good
they,
players.
yeah, I felt like he did okay with the Titans this year.
Yeah.
He got them to compete, which I mean that says a lot because they weren't playing for nothing.
Yeah. And there's a lot of players on this team that actually had some pretty impressive stats. Like that, like I said, there's pieces there. It's not there's not nothing. And you can only do so much as a coach, and so he'll be fine. Or he won't. And I think that if he does bad again this next year, then I don't know. If you get the number one pick again, that's gonna be tough to explain.
But I mean, you think, when we get into it, we'll talk about it more. But I also think, this ain't something you can turn around in a year. I feel like this is going to take a couple years. You know what I mean? So I don't know how you judge that on a coach. They're not going to fix it this year. Like it's not going to be fixed. Will they be? They should be better, but I don't think you're not going to the playoffs.
I personally think that you need to give at least 3 years for a coach because they need to bring in their guys to run their scheme. Like as good as I say they have players, they don't have good players everywhere. There's a lot of players that aren't that good. And this isn't all the people that Brian Callahan needs to run his offense and to run his team the way he wants to. It takes time. It takes a GM that knows what they're doing. And you guys just fired your GM. So yeah, they need to honestly, I think he deserves at least another 2 years.
Yeah,
unless it's really bad. If it's really, really bad, obviously that changes things. But
yeah, I mean, you go out and have a season like you did this year again. I mean, because they're gonna get some pieces. They should get some pieces in the draft.
Yeah,
or they should get
with the
some
first overall
pieces.
pick. I mean, you can get a blue chip player. You can get a game changer.
Right.
Depending on where you want to go. And again, we're going to get into that later. But that can really change or you can trade back too, and that can change a lot of stuff too. There's so many different ways that you can go. So,
2 years is fair.
Absolutely, because that would give him 4 total years. So I think 4 total years is a little longer than I think that you would need minimum. But in this case, firing the GM after your second year, I think it's warranted.
Yeah, and hey, Titan fans, let us know how you feel about that too, because I mean, you guys, that's your team, so let me know how y'all feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you think he needs to go, he needs to go.
Yeah, does he get a year or 2 years? What do you think? The two years fair? Does he just get this year, and then if he don't do good, he's gone?
Yep.
Let us know.
And to help him try and turn that around is going to be a new offensive coordinator. It's Nick Holtz. He was the passing game coordinator for Jacksonville. This is his first year with the Titans. He spent the previous 10 years with, he was with the Jacksonville Jaguars most recently as their passing game coordinator, but he also spent 10 years with the Raiders working with their receivers. And so he's going to have to work with Brian Callahan and improve that offense, whether they get a new quarterback, a different quarterback, they stay with Will Levis, they go somewhere else, they bring in other players. You got to have a good scheme. You can't do it without the right thing, without the right people in place to run that scheme. And it's going to be up to Nick Holtz to improve their offensive rankings.
Yeah, you can't win with 18.3 points per game. That's not how you win in the NFL.
Yeah, definitely not. And I mean, their yards per game were just as bad at 26 yards per game. They only averaged 304.2 yards per game. It's terrible. I mean, the 31st ranked 31st ranked offense for Pro Football Focus. I mean, there's only 32 teams. You don't get much worse than 31.
Yeah. He's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what happens. They could just claim
he's not in a good position.
He's not in a good position.
Any way you look at it.
Scapegoat. New guy. I fire him, or he could also be a guy that gets promoted to interim if Brian Callahan gets fired. Maybe he's a young and upcoming guy that they think could be good. I mean, let's see.
I don't. Like I said, he got a lot of work to do. He's not in a good position to do good right now, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
so he's 40.
In the draft, but we'll see.
I mean, he's 40, so he's not too young to hold anything. Yeah. So he could be an up and coming guy. But yeah, either way, 31st ranked offense. He got it.
He got a lot of work to do.
And then for the DC, we got
Denard Wilson.
He was a D-backs coach.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. And then he was with Baltimore in 2023. He jumped around a lot. Just looking at like where he's been.
Yeah.
He was in Philly from 21 and 22 season. He's with the Jets from 17 to 20. I mean, 12 years in as a coach in the NFL. So, he's been here for a while at least. Definitely different than having someone new that's never been in the NFL. But jumping around a lot is interesting. I'm very curious. Maybe need to dive into that a little bit more. Well, let us know what you guys think again, because he had a defensive ranking of yards per game, which was really good, kind of surprisingly, but at the same time not, because that's kind of underlying issues. Yards per game was second in the NFL by Pro Football, or no, just second in the NFL overall. 111.2 yards per game, pretty good, but their points per game was pretty bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, you can't win a football game with 18. It's not going to happen.
That's what they scored, and they were allowing almost 10 points more than what they were scoring at 27.1. Yeah, I mean, the overall defensive grade from Pro Football Focus was definitely better than their offense at 19th, but I mean, still.
I do think
19th and 31st.
The defense is their strong point right now, though.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we'll get into more of the players on this team, but you'll see really like how good that defense is.
Yeah,
There's
Bernard Wilson has a better shot than Nick Holtz.
For sure. Yeah, he's going to have an easier year. I mean, and that's probably why part of, Brian Callahan's kind of seat if it gets hot too, because he's an offensive coach. It's your job to still help this Nick Holtz. You're the head coach, and ultimately, if that's your background, you need to provide. You need to do good. You need to be a good offensive coach. Yeah, exactly.
You got to be involved.
Yep. So we'll see. Yeah, definitely the defense is a better spot, but that offense, man, just needs a lot of help. All right, we'll jump back in to the next coach with the special teams coach here. He is a new coach. His name is John Fassel. He has 20 years of NFL experience. He was with Dallas since 2020 through the end of last season. Had some pretty good stats here, right, G?
Yes, he did. He had 5th in gross punting average, 4th in net punting average, 2nd in kickoff return average, 1st in total kickoff/punt return touchdowns with 5, that's pretty impressive. 1st in field goals made, 168.
Brandon Aubrey.
3rd in kickoff touchback percentage at 74 in 2024 with Dallas. Yeah, I mean that he's. I think if any coaches stay with the new GM, I think he's staying. I mean,
he'd probably be an intern, if anything.
Yeah, I think he's somebody who can move up.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously if they get along, but I think he's got a good track record. I mean, that's pretty good. Special teams. I mean, doesn't really get a lot better.
Absolutely. I mean, he takes over the 27th ranked special teams unit, so he's got his work cut out for him for sure. But with that kind of background, I think that Titan fans can be, at least you're getting field goals. If you can't score touchdowns, you're getting some points, which that paired with a good defense like you have. Yeah, exactly. And having a good defense and having a good special teams can win some games just alone. Yes. So
special teams can change a game.
Absolutely. And so many.
You got to have all 3 phases. I mean, I feel like that's probably I like him. He's probably the most solid out of all of them, to be honest with you.
Oh, definitely. I agree. And just to wrap up the team here, their turnover differential was 31st in the NFL with a negative 16. They only had 18 takeaways. They had 11 interceptions and 7 fumble recoveries, but this is just where they got absolutely killed. This is why they were 31st. They had 34 giveaways, 21 interceptions, and 13 fumbles lost. That's just, I mean,
you can't win.
Yeah, these they just kind of speak for themselves. I don't know what their differential is compared on defense and takeaways. Let me see. Let me pull that up real quick.
I'm sorry, Tennessee fans, but I mean, if this ain't a recipe to lose, I don't know what it is. Yeah. But I mean, but I think they're still in a better position than a lot of. I mean, I can think of a lot of other teams that are in worse positions.
Oh yeah, 100%. And sometimes being the first overall pick doesn't necessarily mean that you deserve to be the first overall pick. It's
they'll take. You got to think.
Oh yeah.
But and to only have 11 million in day cap too is, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what that ranks, but I'm sure that's up there.
They were middle of the pack in total takeaways.
Yeah, like I said, I think their defense is their strong point. That
absolutely.
Just a couple more pieces on it.
Yeah, and then I mean giveaways, they were 31st. The Browns are the only team that was, or the Browns had 34 giveaways as well. So and the Browns are the second overall pick. So it speaks for itself right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. And then now we're gonna get into some of the players. Now these are gonna be players of note. These are gonna be kind of guys that just like led the lead or led the team. Just random players that the team has that are kind of like they've been there, and possible fan favorites, people I've heard rumblings of, guys that you always hear about, just kind of, players that you need to pay attention to. And Titan fans, tell us if these are the guys that we should pay attention to. I looked at a lot of these guys. I looked over the roster. I looked over all the stats. And again, like I said, these are the leaders. These are the good players. These are the guys that you should pay attention to. And, we could go on and on about, or maybe not so good, since they are on the first overall pick. But, we're not going to go over all of them. We could do a deep dive and everything. If you want to see that, please let us know. I'd be happy to really do a full deep dive into a lot more of the players and look into a little bit more. But this is meant to be just kind of a more basic breakdown. This is just to give you an idea of where your team's headed. So without further ado, we're going to get into the players of note. I want to start, like you said, with a bad player. I want to talk about Mayonnaise Boy, or Will Levis. He's currently listed as the starter on the team. I'm sorry, Titans. He was a second-round pick, 33rd overall in 2023. And he is the reason you're here, pretty much.
Well, that and the offensive line, but
yeah, the offensive line isn't great either. But I mean, we've seen the memes that came from Will Levis throwing interceptions and pick sixes and fumbles and just boneheaded plays. And I mean, but we knew this is who he was coming in. He's a gunslinger guy. He's a guy who's just going to throw it. He's old school style, like just huck it up there and let's see if it works.
Yes.
Some of these stats here.
13 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That is absolute.
Yeah. And I mean, he took 41 sacks. So.
Yeah, he did take 41 sacks. That's what I'm saying. Offensive line did not help him.
And that's only in 12 games, too. That's a lot. Like,
who is behind him? Probably don't even know.
Yeah, for real. I'm sure we don't. I mean, there's not much you got to say. The guy puts mayonnaise in his coffee. It's weird. He has a cologne that's a mayonnaise scent. Like, dude, it's just at some point it's just too much, man.
Like, so maybe you should stop worrying about mayonnaise. Ball to your receivers, not the defense.
Yeah, I mean, you got mayonnaise on your fingers, and that's why you throw it or something. I don't know, man. Like there's got to be something to it, because maybe just stop. Maybe see if it works. Stop if it works, and you turn into a good quarterback. Be like, oh, it was the mayonnaise, and then at least we knew. Yeah, it's there's little mayonnaise packets around with him. You think he does that? He's like, ha.
And he's probably a Heinz guy too, or whatever.
No, he had. Let's see here. Let's see.
I mean, if you're gonna put mayo in your coffee, at least do Duke's mayo. I mean, that's all I'm saying. But I know it ain't Duke's. He ain't a Duke's guy. I can tell you that right now.
Hellman's.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah. That explains it all. Should have switch it up. Put the Dukes in there. Maybe you'll throw some more touchdowns.
Or just don't put mayonnaise in your coffee. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, that's gross.
But yeah, anyway, the stats speak for themselves. He speaks for himself. We don't really need to go too much more into Will Levis, and maybe we'll hear about him at the end of the episode too.
But hey, there might be some people out there with some hope now. Okay, maybe he end up like a Baker Mayfield. Except that would involve him going to another team. But anyway, trash. Let me know if you think otherwise and why. I mean, I'll listen to your reasoning, but.
Yeah,
he's definitely trash.
Yeah, definitely trash.
And you damn sure got to have a quarterback. I mean, you're not going to win anything if you don't have a good quarterback. So,
yeah, and I mean they've got some weapons on offense too. Calvin Ridley, coming back from all that suspension and really just proving that he is a good receiver. I mean, he was their leading receiver. Yeah, he was their leading receiver. I mean, with 1,017 yards, he doubled the total yardage of the next closest receiver. We'll get into that next receiver after this. But I mean, what more can you say about that? Your number one guy doubling the next guy. He's your number one. I mean, he may have only had 1,000 yards, but again, Will Levis was really bad. And
15.9 yards per catch is good.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, he can get open. You just got to have a quarterback throw it to him.
Yep, exactly. And no, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, hey, you're not wrong though. It's like you can say what you want.
Yeah, what Nick Westbrook? He had 497 yards, 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, 9 touchdowns is crazy.
Yeah, 9 touchdowns is good. So he's good in the red zone.
Yeah, and he had a 98-yard touchdown too. That's crazy. Like, so he can take the top off. He seems like he could be good as maybe your third guy though. You need another guy up there with Calvin Ridley because I mean, as good as they are,
yes, they
need help. And we'll probably go over that a little bit in the draft and in free agency a little bit too. There's some options out there through either avenue, and cap space. They have a decent amount of cap space. They could go out and sign someone on offense to improve that line, to improve those weapons, and we'll get into that. You'll see those players coming up here soon.
Yeah, you got some decent receivers.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's going to be hard to get them to come no quarterback. I mean, it all starts there. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the hardest part about being a bad team is that no one wants to come and play for you because you suck.
Nope.
And it's hard to just get those guys. So, the free agents that they might look at are probably going to be guys that are, not great. Maybe just need to improve a little bit. Maybe they're young. Maybe they're a little injury prone. Guys don't want to take like a prove it year, something like that. That's probably going to be the players you're going to get. But yeah,
I do like Tony Pollard. They paid him way too much money though.
Yeah, what was that contract here? Let me see.
$21.7 million for 3 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
To give you an example, he's making way more than David Montgomery for Detroit Lions. And
I wanted to know on Nick Westbrook real quick. He is a free agent actually. So
he is
keep him taking the top off. Yeah, they're gonna need to bring his ass back.
Well, you could probably get him cheap. So I mean, why not bring him back? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they don't have an option.
Or no, he was signed as an undrafted free agent. He is a current free agent.
That's right.
Yeah, and he had a 63.4 PFF grade, so he wasn't great. He'd be easy to replace, I guess. There's always a good receiver in the draft. So
I mean, he's going to go somewhere and be on a practice squad if he doesn't stick with the Titans.
Possibly, yeah, he'll probably stay there. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he signed 2 contracts with him now. He signed as an undrafted free agent, and then he signed another one. I think it was just a 1-year deal last year.
Yeah, so he's still young. He can still develop.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And who knows? Maybe if he's used a little bit more in an offense that needs him a little bit more, that has a competent quarterback. Sorry, again, for Will Levis. But
I don't like Tony Pollard 5 touchdowns, though. He's not getting in the end zone.
Well, they just weren't getting close because they knew the ball. They knew it was coming.
I mean, he was
still. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 4.2, which is actually pretty good. And then to have 1,079 yards. I mean, he did his job.
Yeah. 67 yards a game isn't great, but not terrible.
But like you got a bad O line, man.
Yeah,
and he's doing that. Like, imagine if you had a good O line. Trust me, the Cowboys wish they could have Tony Pollard back. I don't know what they were thinking, but hey, good for the Titans.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
100%.
That's a great story.
Yeah, they're stoked. Yeah, I mean, well, he had a pretty bad injury and everything, so it's understandable, I guess, that they would let him go. I mean, I don't know. The Cowboys, we'll do the episode on the Cowboys, but
what?
Yeah.
Anyway,
should have just paid Tony Pollard. But yeah, Tony Pollard did have a decent year though. He had a 68.7 PFF grade, 33rd out of 47 qualified running backs. So not bad, not amazing, but in this. Well, in this day and age too, like we talked about Saquon and everything in our Super Bowl episode, and there's just not many guys like that anymore. This NFL is guys that split carries, and there's going to be guys at the top for sure. There's guys that are going to do that, but for a majority of the league, you're going to be running 2 running backs. Tajee Spears, good running back. He only took 80 carries, 84 carries, 3.7 yards carry, 312 yards. So, he didn't do much, but he was a nice
I think that's the future anyway. And you got to have 2.
Yeah, it keeps them fresh. It keeps them lasting longer too. That way they don't just play for 5 years and then they're like Todd Gurley and their knees are falling off.
Yeah, or like a Christian
You know,
McCaffrey, and they have to sit out a year because they got hurt because they've been
exactly.
abused.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Carolina. Just saying.
Hey man, I had some people come up to me like, "Oh, dude, you guys, thanks for the trade, man." And I'm like, "Yeah, like he's great, like if you use him the right way." And then this is why we traded him. Yeah, exactly. This is why we traded him to you. So thank you for the second round pick.
Yes, yeah. I guess you made out on that one, but it's your fault that he's not good.
Yeah, not really. I don't know. I'd still would have rather had McCaffrey, but
just
because he would have done as good no matter what.
I blame the Panthers. Just like Anyway, we're getting off topic, but
absolutely, yeah. Okay. Sure. But anyway, so Tony Pollard, good running back there, and then let's get a little bit into the defensive players here. Kenneth Murray Jr.
Things get bright here.
Yeah, things get bright here. This is a really good place. They have good players here. And I mean, we've already talked about the defense and how good it actually is. So this defense, starting with Kenneth Murray Jr., team's leading tackler, 95 total tackles. He was everywhere. He also had 3.5 sacks, 8 tackles for a loss, 1 interception. He did a little bit of everything. He may not have been amazing, but that's still only in 14 games. So
those are great.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, and on a team that's as bad as that, he's tired. He's out there a lot. That offense sucks, so he's out there all the time. That's why they were. Yeah, and that's why they were second in yards, but first or like 31st in points, because they would throw an interception at like the 20-yard line, and the team goes and scores from the 20-yard line. They don't get a lot of yards, and it looks weird. So yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, great stats. He signed a 2-year deal in 2024. After spending 4 seasons with the Chargers, so the last offseason. So he has 1 more year with them. His PFF grade wasn't good, 45.9 overall, which is 169th.
I don't know that that's fair.
I don't think it is. He's better than that. I mean, especially if you're the team's leading tackle, you're doing something.
What did you say it was? 69.7?
45.9.
45.9.
Yeah,
they harsh on him. His run defense is great. It's terrible. I guess he's not good against the run, but I don't.
Yeah, let's see. Do you got pulled up on a PFF?
He's just a pass rushing. Yeah, his defense. Yeah, his run defensive grade was 35. So that's where it hadn't been good. And then, but his pass rush is 67.7. So he's just a pass rushing linebacker.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I mean.
Still, the stats look better than the PFF grade. Sometimes those PFF grades can be kind of misleading.
I mean, 95 tackles.
Yeah,
he's going. He's
there.
I mean, I like it solid. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us what you think, Titan fans. If you guys like him, if he's trash, if you want to get rid of him, if this deal was a mistake, if you need to bring in someone else. Whatever.
15.5 also is not that bad.
Oh yeah, for the money, yeah, no, he's not a terrible contract at all. And those are the kind of players they're going to get. When you're a bad team, you're going to get players that sign a kind of smaller deal, but they get hurt, or they may not be amazing at everything, and that's okay. Maybe you can turn these guys into something good, or they can pair together and they'll be good. Like with Amani Hooker, the team's leading interception player, he had 5 interceptions. He had 71 tackles. That's crazy for a safety. I mean, I guess not really. Yeah, that's good for a safety. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no interceptions, which, I mean, I don't know. Safeties, I think they're hit or miss. Not very many safeties get that many interceptions, I don't think.
No, but you kind of want one though that can get some picks, like a ball hawk, But he.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely great to have. Yeah,
I mean, his coverage grade is 66.3, so it's not terrible.
Yeah,
good coverage.
Yeah,
he's just not getting his head around probably and getting them interceptions.
Oh wait, no, he had 5 interceptions. Why did I not have his interceptions down? I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Tell him.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. So I mean, yeah, but that's still, that just makes him look even better. Yeah, 5 interceptions. We said that. Man, all over the place. So yeah, he only played in 14 games though, which makes it even more impressive, leading the team with 5 interceptions in 14 games. He was drafted by Tennessee in 2019 and then re-signed with them in 2022 for a 3-year, $30 million deal. Again,
he had his best year in 2021.
Yeah. So it's
he was ranked 3 out of 92 in 20.
Again, we said it gets bright here, everybody. And this is just kind of one of the brightest spots. We're really getting into there. And then I wanted to just kind of keep it brief. Like I said, I'll have some honorable mentions here at the end, but we're going to go to the team leader in sacks, which was Harold Landry. I mean, yeah, stats are weird for guys like him though, because they don't really speak to a lot of what it was. Like, let's see here. Harold.
He's a run defense. Like he's a good clog.
Yeah, so I mean, he does that, but he also led the team in sacks. Like that's great. That's exactly what you want. You know, his pass rush grade wasn't even that good, and he still led the team in sacks. He was 19th in the league, and he had a 49.6 pass rush grade, good for 197th. That's I don't understand how that is 19th in the league. He's better than that, everybody, and I'm sure you know this. So yeah, I mean, you said he gets bright. So 9 sacks, 71 tackles, no forced fumbles, 4 pass deflections. Again, the stats may not be there, but he was a disruptor. He was part of that defense. Yeah,
he's a great piece.
Oh yeah, he's a piece you're going to build on because he got drafted in 2018, so he's a little bit older now. No, he's what 7 years now. This will be 7 years. He was drafted 41st overall. He signed a 5-year deal in 2022, so he'll be a free agent after 2027. So they got him for a couple more years. He's a great building block. He's going to be there and he's going to help you out. His overall PFF grade was 70.5, good for 51st. So great there. And then so yeah, I mean, we said it got a lot brighter, and it did. That defense has some really good players. Those guys, that should make you guys happy. I mean, that should, Titan fans, at least you have a defense. I'm a Panther fan, but what's a defense? I mean, we used to know. I can go off on that. We'll get to there on the Panthers. When that Panthers episode is going to be like 4 hours.
Their whole D line. I mean, you know, Joseph Day, Sweat, Simmons, all those pieces are good.
Yeah,
Simmons is great.
Arden Key too. Arden Key is what he signed for 2 years. He has 12.5 sacks since they signed him. He had 6.5 this year, 41 total tackles, 2 forced fumbles. So there's other guys there. And then L'Jarius Sneed too. They just they traded for him. He got hurt. It's unfortunate, but I mean, he's been a great cornerback for years. I think every year he's had at least 2 sacks or 2 interceptions except for 1 year. So he'll be back and he's going to make that defense even better. And then Jerome Baker, you traded for him in the middle of the season from Seattle. He only had 1 sack and 24 tackles, and he is a free agent. So maybe you bring him back, maybe you don't. Your first round pick, JC Latham. I mean, pretty solid for a rookie. 61.8 overall grade, 56 out of 81. Not great, but rookie tackles, it's just hard. It's not an easy thing to do. So bright spots. They aren't as bad as this record, as this draft pick, as all of this makes it seem. I think that we could see a good improvement next year as long as they do something in the draft and free agency and improve this team a little bit. There's only a couple things they need on offense, and I think this team can actually be pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't think they're too far from being a good team.
Yeah, definitely not.
And their defense is, like I said, their defense is there. Yeah, I mean, and you got my boy Quandre Diggs. I'm just saying, 6th round draft pick, Detroit Lions. Dude's a dog. He's been consistent. I mean, he's not like the best, but he's been consistent for quite a while.
Consistent is underrated, especially in the NFL, especially in sports. You want consistency. You want a guy you can count on. He may not be amazing, but he's consistent.
No, great cover guy. He's a ball hog. And he's a good player. And then you got Gibbons back there. Gibbons is.
Yeah, I mean, again, this team's not as bad as it makes it seem, and we'll get into some free agents that we think can help them out. They're, again, no one's going to really want to come here and do like the end of their career, spend their prime here. Free agents free agents are going to be tough.
The draft.
So, I mean, looking at a list of free agents, you got like Khalil Mack's out there, but he ain't coming there. He's almost at the end of his career. He doesn't want to.
I'm hoping he comes to Detroit, but
that would be crazy. And then again, just going down the list here, we got DJ Reed for another cornerback for a running mate with L'Jarius Sneed, which would be cool. But again, he's young. I don't think he's going to want to sign like a contract in his prime. Yeah, he's going to want to go somewhere and compete.
But there's some wide receivers out here that they could look at.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I don't know that, you're going to have the problem of, a lot of the good guys that you're going to get for a good price are not going to want to come play there because they want to win a championship. Like Amari Cooper,
Yeah.
like he would be solid, but like he's not.
He's probably going back to the Buffalo.
I could see him going to the Redskins.
I can see that. He's going to go somewhere where he can compete and where he can be something special. And I think the Commanders would be a good place for them to go to. And I mean, then Stephon Diggs, he ain't going there. DeAndre Hopkins ain't going there. He already came from there. He ain't going back. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, he ain't going there. Darius Slayton, possibility. He's 28. He hasn't been great. I mean, his grades the last couple of years, he was 106, 64, and 61st. He could be a replacement for Nick Westbrook.
I mean, I think you're just going to kind of have to be bad another year, and you're just not be able to build through free agency. And plus, you don't want to spend all your money.
Like, yeah, definitely not.
That's not what you want. Right now, you're a bad team. You got good draft picks. You got to build a team for the draft, and then pay your guys to the draft. That's the way it's got to go now. The defense there. You need offensive pieces.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and those guys.
Couple pieces on defense. That's it.
Yeah, but I mean, offense, you're just going to have to kind of get guys that you may not really want. And they might just be like high upside guys that are, maybe injured or they are, like I said, just young. I don't think you need another running back. Tony Pollard's great. You're not going to get one of these like top guys or anything like that. There's not really any.
You could get one later in the draft. There's a couple decent running backs in the draft now.
Yeah, I mean, doing a free agent running back is, I think, only if you're like if that's what you really need to complete the team, if you have other needs.
Hey, if Lions release Craig Reynolds, that ain't a bad pickup, and he's cheap.
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be players that get cut, but again, there's a lot of ways they can go. It's going to be really interesting to see what free agents they get. Like I said, I think it's just, let us know, Titan fans, if there's anyone you want to see brought in. Let us know if there's someone you don't want to see. If you have a wish list, show us your wish list, the whole thing. I'll take it.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it for sure. Because another name I wrote down is Charvarius Ward, cornerback from the Niners. He said that he loves the Niners. I don't know if you saw this, but he had some tragedy happen in his life. His 1-year-old child passed away while he was in California. So he said that he doesn't want to be in California. So possibility, he's a little bit older, but he might want a little bit too much money. And again, like you said, we don't need them to spend a bunch of money.
Yeah, no, it's not the time to spend money.
For a piece on the defense, I know they already have Arden Key, who I really like a lot, but Chase Young actually would be an interesting thing because he's kind of just like not really lived up to what he's supposed to be. So I feel like he just keeps signing a 1-year prove-it deal every year.
I don't, Chase Young, he hasn't lived up to it, but like he has lived up to it. Like,
yeah,
dude had, so I can't remember how many pressures he had this year, like 93 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's good, but like I just don't know if the work ethic's there. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he can't stay on the team. I mean, he had the best setup with the 49ers. Along with Nick, alongside with Nick Bosa, he didn't do a damn thing. So,
yeah, I mean, his overall grade from PFF was 72nd. It was a 66.4. His pressures, he was 7th in the league. So
that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, he had 7 sacks, good for 33rd.
He doesn't just get the pressures.
Yeah, he was 5th in hurries.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's doing pretty decent, but something's going on. Yeah, he's not finishing. So.
Yeah, I mean, but still, that's the kind of player that they can target. Guys that like if he puts it together and he has some good pieces next to him. I mean, you pair him with Jeffrey Simmons there in the middle with Harold Landry getting all those. I mean, maybe it unlocks him and Arden Key. Maybe he's just a rotational guy. Maybe you just switch him and Arden Key out, and they just go and attack. Or maybe they create a NASCAR package with them all, or something like that. Remember the NASCAR package from the Giants, dude, back in the day? Spagnuolo.
Spagnuolo. But yeah, I mean, but like, look, I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you what. Let's get into the. I kind of want to talk about the quarterback situation along with the draft because I got some opinions on there.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, let's get into the draft options here. So again, they have the first.
Well, let's start here though. So what do you do with Will Levis? You can't give up on him yet because he's on a rookie deal and he don't cost nothing. So you got to stick with him, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it gets. They got the first pick, right? You could take a quarterback in the first round. You could take a Cam Ward. You could take a
Shador.
You could take Shador.
Yeah.
Do you do that or do you wait? Let Will Levis. You also got a Sam Darnold out there that could potentially be somebody you could pick up and who would be good right away.
Yeah.
So
he could definitely be
draft somebody, or do you go pay somebody? Or that's tough, man. I mean, Titans fans, what you think? But I mean, I don't think you go sign Sam Darnold. I don't think you're there yet.
If he wants $35 million a year,
that's what I'm saying.
Even
you're not 30 there to spend that money.
No, yeah, exactly. So I mean, if he ends up wanting to sign for less because he thinks that he could be, good. Well, I mean, if he thinks he's going to be your guy, he's going to be your guy, and he's going to want the money. I don't know. It's a tough situation, but I think they get rid of Will Levis. They'll trade him. It's something like how it happened to Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett got traded. Same kind of thing.
6th round.
Yeah, but I mean, what? You just cut him and get nothing? At least you can get a 6th round pick, and you can combine the 7 6th round picks. And I mean, it wouldn't be the worst idea. Yeah.
I mean, he didn't cost you nothing. Then when his contract's up, then you make that decision like, well, we're gonna let you go or we're not. But let him ride it out because he ain't cost nothing.
Not a bad idea. I mean, a decent backup, I guess. Maybe not really.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll be in the mayonnaise. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, remember? Well, maybe he'll put some Dukes in there. And he'll be like he'll be a Baker Mayfield.
I'm sorry, Will Levis. If you on the super off chance that Will Levis ever sees this, I'm sorry. We don't really mean it that much. I'm sure that it tastes good to you. I'm never gonna do that. I'm sorry, but no.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. He might be, but I ain't. Don't put me. See, that's just weird. I think everybody can agree that's weird.
I'm sure most people. I'm sure you get a lot of crap for it, dude. So maybe we should tag Will Levis in this. Anyone that watches this, tag Will Levis. Let's see if we can get him to respond. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you know what I think though, Brent?
What?
The commission, sorry, man. But anyways, I think maybe you should try coffee with mayo.
No, I don't like coffee in general.
We can't knock it if we don't try it.
How about you try with Dukes, and if it's good with Dukes, then maybe you're onto something, and maybe we can tell Levis that he made the wrong choice in his Hellmann's.
Hey, look, all right. So look, on the next episode, all right, we're gonna try some mayo with coffee.
No, if on the off chance this gets like 10,000 views or something like that, I will drink mayo and coffee.
No, you're drinking the next episode. We're gonna try it.
No, I'm not drinking the next episode. That's disgusting. If we get 1,000, give me 1,000.
We just knocked Will Levis.
I don't care. I'm trying to make it so I'm not going to have to drink mayonnaise and coffee. That's gross.
We're going to try it. I'm going to try it. All right, y'all.
Okay.
But I'm going to do it with Dukes. I ain't doing no damn
Hellmann's.
Miracle Whip or what it is.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's not good stuff. I know that.
Yeah. But anyway. I don't know what they're going to do. We'll get into the draft here to kind of go over that a little bit here. Like you said, Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, the 2 quarterback options in this draft. I mean, there's some guys later on too, which also is an option. They could trade this pick away. They could trade the first pick and get off.
I think you trade it. I do. I think you trade back. Even if you trade it back 3. All right, go get you another first round pick for next year.
I don't think for next year. Yeah. I mean,
trade back. Get you a first round for next year. Heck, you might be able to make a trade where you get a first round next year and a first round this year to like a Cleveland Browns or Giants who really want Shador Sanders or Cam Ward.
Yeah, but the Browns wouldn't. They have the 2. I think that it would be the Raiders are an option that I've seen them
trade back.
They're at 6. It wouldn't be that crazy of a jump back.
No.
So.
And then you make sure, and you either pick up if you can pick up a first round for the next year, do that. I mean, I don't know if that's possible, but it could be depending on how bad they want to move up. But
I think it depends on the team.
But you could also recoup a 3rd rounder.
Yeah. It really depends. The Raiders are interesting because it's like with Pete Carroll, do they do those same kind of stupid moves? Because in the past they probably would do that, and they would trade like 7 first-rounders, and they'd trade Brock Bowers, and they would trade Allegiant Stadium, and they would just trade it all for like the first pick because they're like, oh, this is going to fix everything. But that's just not the way it is. So I don't know. It will be interesting to see what happens.
I don't know if they trade back.
I'm really torn because you don't get the number 1 pick that often, so you got to make that pick. And
everybody wasted on a quarterback. Look how many bad quarterbacks get drafted at number 1.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You're not wrong.
And they're not ready. They ain't got the O line.
Yeah, but when your quarterback is as bad as Will Levis has been for them, and it's not just the stats, it's not just the stuff, it's just like how boneheaded some of the things are. The interceptions are just bad interceptions. The fumbles are bad fumbles. Some of the sacks he takes are bad. So it's like, do you go out and get a guy that, Shedeur and Cam are good quarterbacks. They're not bad.
Oh no, I don't disagree with that. I think they're good, but I'm what I'm thinking is you're not ready for that quarterback. So why don't you get some pieces this year and get you a quarterback next year? You're still going to be bad.
There's always a quarterback next year for sure, but I don't know if they keep it. Let's talk about if they keep it.
All right.
If they keep it, who's your picker at number 1?
All right.
You got the whole board in front. You got Travis Hunter sitting there.
No,
you got Cam Ward.
I like Travis Hunter. I like trading back and picking up Travis Hunter.
No. We're talking about if you keep the pick, number 1 overall.
Just don't think you keep the pick.
No, you got. Tell me who you picking if you're keeping number 1.
All right, so if I have to keep the pick, it's tough, man. It's hard. I wouldn't like being the first pick, There's too much. It's too much on you, But so I would probably go. I would pick either Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
In the first round.
All right.
For sure. And then I can't pronounce this guy's last name. Sorry, guys. But Donovan Ziruku or Zirku.
What, for the second round?
Yes. It's a DN. He's a dog. He's one of the higher rated ones. And I think he could fall. He might not fall, but he could fall.
Okay. That's another piece for that defense, If you can't have a good offense, have a good defense.
Yes. You have to.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I personally, I can't really disagree with that too much. Shedeur is used to having a bad O-line too, so I think that he would be able to function with a bad O-line. But I think my pick would be Cam Ward. I like me a good Cam, and I think that he can bring kind of a similar. The biggest thing with Cam is his floor was high. You can talk all the shit you want about Cam Newton, but his floor is what was the best part about him, honestly. You were never going to get way, way, way down here because his running ability was so good. Even if he couldn't pass the ball that well, he was carrying us on his back with that running game. He couldn't stop. Same thing with Cam Ward. He knows how to use he's not to the level of Cam Newton, but he is good. He knows how to use his feet. He knows how to use his athletic ability to help a team that needs weapons on offense. So I think if they do draft a quarterback, I think you got to go Ward just because of that, because he increases the output of your offense at the very least.
Man, I'm thinking Shedeur over Ward.
I can't wait to see what happens because it really is a coin flip. I think they both have positives, they both have negatives. Cam Ward also was a starter for a long time, but so was Shedeur. So they're kind of just very similar. Like they definitely play different, but their situations, their intangibles, I guess you could say, I think are similar.
I just think Shedeur is going to be more NFL ready than most.
Yeah, more than people think for sure. People don't think he's going to be NFL ready, and I'm like,
I like that he throws the ball first.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't use his legs that much.
Yeah, I think that you could be a quarterback for a lot longer period of time.
Absolutely.
Because of that. And Cam Newton's a perfect example of that.
Illegal hit from TJ Watt, but that's what ended Cam.
It's football, dog.
No, it was an illegal hit. He speared his shoulder with his helmet. We can get into that on the Panthers episode too if you guys want.
No, we don't. We're not talking about the past. We're talking about the future. Okay. He is in the past. You gotta let him go.
Oh yeah, I let him go.
Bryce Young. You gotta let him go. But anyways, I like Shedeur. I think he's more of an NFL ready talent. We'll see. I could be wrong, but
all right.
I like him. And by the way, what I was talking about on the second pick about Donovan.
Yeah.
Boston College Eagles.
Okay.
Edge rusher. The PFF grade for his 2024 season is a 90. Pass rush grade's a 90. Run defense 83.
Solid.
Yeah, he's gonna be good. He's 6'2", 247. So he's not the biggest, but he's good size.
Yeah. All right.
But I like him a lot.
My second round, I went a little bit different. I went with a Colston Loveland tight end.
Yeah, okay, out of Michigan.
Yeah.
Come on, dog.
Yeah, I know you know. But yeah, I like him because looking at that offense, you added he might not make it to that second pick in the third or the second round pick for them.
He might not make
it. It's definitely possible.
No, I mean, but he would be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, and there's other guys too. You know, they have like Landon Jackson. He's an edge rusher. Princely Umanamelian. He's another edge rusher. Darian Porter, cornerback. You know, a lot of this has to do with them and what they do in free agency too. If they add maybe a high upside D end or a high upside cornerback, Sherberry's Ward, like I said, maybe they don't go that way. Maybe they go into the offensive line in the second round. I know there's a guy out of North Dakota State, I believe, a tackle that kind of projects more as a guard. I can't remember his name right now, but
yeah, they really do need to go O-line too. You know, I mean, I know I picked defensive end, but you know, I mean, at that point, you know, you kind of got to take best available player.
Yeah.
I also think there's a decent amount of tackles in here. Maybe not like day one starters, but there's developmental tackles in here that you can get later on in the rounds.
This draft is super top heavy for offensive line this year. There's only a couple guys, and then it just kind of drops off into some average guys, but average is better than crap.
No, and they can be polished up.
Absolutely. And the Titans don't have a third round pick, which sucks, which is another reason why maybe they trade that first overall pick to get a third, get another second, get a little bit back on the first, something, and then they're going to have to get something for next year too, whether it's a first round pick, a second round pick, 2 second round pick, whatever it is. It all depends on who does it, obviously, too. So yeah, with no third round pick, I don't want to go over really anything past the third round, because that's kind of just a toss up. It's really just going to be best player available, guys that have high upside, maybe guys that are injured. I don't think there's really a need to go into anything else past the third round. And so since they don't have a third round pick, I think we're going to wrap it up here for the Titans with our Assback of the team, Assback of the week. If you guys have a good use for it, I guess, let me know if there's anything better, but an Assback. So this may be part of the reason that you're even watching this. You need to know what an Assback is. So you might know what an Assback is, but if you don't, an Assback is basically like a fourth string player, also been referred to as fifth quarter all-stars. I've kind of heard a lot of different stuff. I was an Assback. I was not great at sports, but I was high energy. I wanted to play all the time. I was like, coach, put me in. And he said, get your ass back to the bench. That's where the ass back comes from. And so for the ass back of the team, the episode, basically this person is going to be someone that you want to get your ass back to the bench. It can be a good one too, like get your ass back on this team because we need you. For the Titans, get your ass back on the bench, dude. They're going to go pick up a quarterback. They're going to draft a quarterback. They're going to do something because you're not cutting it out. And I'm going to throw a second one on there too, though. We're going to go L'Jarius Sneed for a good one. Injured after you traded for him. Another piece to that defense that we've been talking about this whole episode. Get your ass back on the field, please, L'Jarius Sneed. They need you. And yeah, if you guys have someone else that you have as an ass back, please let us know.
Yeah, put your ass back on there. Just saying. Put it on there.
Put your ass back on the comments there. Let us know what you think. If you got anything else for us, we're listening. Hopefully there's a lot of people listening. We're going to get another episode here. The next episode is going to be Cleveland. So for Cleveland, we need to get your ass back for Cleveland.
Get your ass back.
Yep. So we'll see you guys next time. And don't forget to check out our Super Bowl episode. And check out the intro we have on here too. All right.
Hey, thank y'all. And
thank y'all.
Good luck, Titans fans.
Good luck, Titans fans. You guys are going to need it. But we'll see you next time. Hopefully you tune in for the Browns too if you just want to see a breakdown. And we'll see you guys. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on TikTok. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram, all as Assback Sports. So come follow us. And we'll see you soon. Later, guys.
Peace.